As usual, before this video starts, please watch our previous videos in this series before starting. I've made around 4 videos in this series with many more to come. This playlist also includes extras such as art, live streams, with tips here and there, and more. Why should you watch these previous videos? Well, you can find extra content and extra tips and tricks to help you. By having stepping stones, this series is designed to build off each video slowly. Anyways, playlists will be linked in cards and also in the description. Let's get started with our introduction. Super Doomspire is a game of balance ultimately, but offense is quite an important topic to cover. The game's intention is to be split into 2 strategies, attack and defense. In this video, we will be focusing on offensive strategies that allow you to emulate your foe in all the different game modes, from classic, 2 teams, infection, roundcat, and more. Remember, be a sharp-witted fighter, not a fighter in general. By picking out what is effective for a total blitz and what is not, you can learn to strike your opponent where it hurts in Super Doomspire. My name is TanookiAlex, and this is our Super Doomspire series, in which we go through Super Doomspire and its game functions, strategies, and more. Let's get started. Yo, what's up, #Nerd Squad, and welcome back to another video. But before we get started in this video, make sure to subscribe for this Roblox drama, news, tips and tricks, and more. Don't forget to turn on the bell so that you never miss out on one of my videos, which are uploaded weekly to twice a week. The collaborators will also be in the description. So, let's get started with our first tip, which is offensive weapons. In terms of game modes, the best weapons to use in order along with their offensive tactics are: in the classic game mode, the goal of classic is simple and offensive strategy. Just like Doomspire Brickbattle, your goal is to stop spawning from happening by knocking out the towers, therefore stopping the rate of spawn, causing a permanent KO. The players win when a team is last left standing. In terms of offensive strategies, go for the towers bottom first with the rocket weapon. The 2 I best recommend for construction are the normal rocket and more beefy rockets such as Star Blaster and Lunar Dragon, because their damage and construction can knock out the bottom trusses in around 4 hits. Lunar Dragon is more of an all-around launcher, and I would personally avoid the scope shot in this game mode, because it's often that players will see you attacking the bottom of the base and comes towards you. In this case, if you are a more PvP-like player in classic game mode, there are multiple weapons I recommend. It depends your playing style, so here it goes. Here are the best 3 weapons and strategies on how to use them. Crystal Blaster, for lighter type players, is one of the best to use as an offensive strategy rocket. Because of its ability to have good range and close range combat, its hand can be used as a unique weapon because of its light reload range. Surprise your opponents by bomb jumping your way towards them or doing a combo. Best combo with a crystal lunger is a lunge with a sword, so no normal type weapon, and then lunging your way towards the opponent, therefore causing 1 direct hit. Then very quickly switch to that in 1 shot, as shown in footage from the beginning. Lighter rockets are better for offensive type weapons. This can include the Hot Hog Arm Cannon, which is better for dodge dumps, and medium weapons too. As I always say, knock down spawns, which is the best offensive strategy in terms to stop the spawning, therefore eliminating your opponent, which causes the cycle to end. As reviewed in the Game Mode's advanced video, you can have the offensive strategy of 2 ways. One helps you win the round quicker and the other gains more rewards. Always start at the top of the tower, and using weapons such as the lighter or heavier arsenal, Soul Blaster, etc., learn the layout of a tower. There are 4 different types of floors. Plant your bombs and rockets in according. Make sure that you can project the physics defending on the tower of your rocket. If you use a beefier rocket such as Scope Shot, which is not recommended on my terms, have the Scope Shot try and aim towards more of being a companion with your bomb. This also applies to mini rockets too, because you can't really knock out a spawn in one go, because your rocket will not knock out the wall unless you aim it directly towards the bottom. This works with crystal and the like, but is a bit more different with the arm cannon. As well, if the player is chasing you, you can defend using quick sledge. Try and trap the player on more skinnier floors with more minimal windows and or paintings. Get them in the corner and lunge them into that corner. If such player doesn't seem quick in reactions, you can rock them. If not, it's good to send a furious super balls, because best super balls are the normal ones to heavy, therefore the opponent cannot predict your attacks. Best swords to use in this game mode are the medium to layer swords, because the max players are spread out. If you want to get faster kills, make sure your weapon has easier transport functions such as the lunge. Box may be included in this. If you want a better view and control the general area, it is best to find yourself in the middle of the map to get more coins and kills, as that's the general gathering area. By having a general control of the square in most maps and 2 teams, you can control most of the perimeter. It's always best to check your view. If you have people gaming up on you, distract the general direction by lunging and bomb jumping if quickly or rocket jumping. Gang up on others by aiming to the individual who is farthest and making your way towards them. Make your movements unpredictable and then strike. The 3 weapons you should be using most in this game mode for offensive strategies are the rocket for most or Euclidean kills, or as well as constructive damage, hence why it should be 1 in your toolbar for slot 1. The sword, medium type weapon, and is good for close damage. The Super Ball, which this weapon is criminally underrated because the Super Ball can scatter, therefore causing an unpredictable movement. Medium distance, some even have the ability to hinder your opponent, making them easier the next time they are dealt with. Moving on, let's move on to the next game mode. Next week's episode, we will be covering Infection a bit more, as Infection in itself stands as more of a defensive game mode. However, if you are on the team Zombie, the game can be considered a more attack and blitz type game mode on your end. The purpose of this game mode is to make sure your team survives or doesn't. Once KO'd by a zombie, you join the zombie team. In being a zombie, your best offensive strategy is to Super Ball. As I've said before, Super Balling is a very useful weapon, as you only get 2 weapons. The Super Ball can hinder players, therefore making utilization as your speed. Your key is to aim for the center tower, and it's often that's where survivors gather. Usually a good survivor strategy is to border up where they'll put a lot of trusses, but these can be taken down with 3 Super Ball hits each and can vary actually. Aim from a medium distance and keep firing. Their source of safety can't always be there. Key is Blitz, hordes and numbers. Remember when attacking to always go with the boys in the squad. As a zombie, your health is extremely low. Therefore, you want to combat such health with so many to the point where the eye cannot focus. Run around crazily and from there in almost an H shape. This makes movement unpredictable. Then call in the rest of your squad and overwhelm them with your power. As a zombie, always choose Frying Pan or heavier weapons. You need to make up for the lack of health with a good bong. Frying Pan is quite overpowered. As for the bat, honestly, the Batter Up new perk makes it quite alright now. You can choose any weapon you want, but keep in mind, items such as the box make your character awfully light and it takes multiple hits to kill. Let's move on to Roundcat Rally. Let's hear Nat and PJ's thoughts on the thoughts of Super Doomspire's offensive strategies.
There, here are our best offensive tips for Super Doomspire.
Okay, for our first tip, you're going to just pretty much need the Rockstar, and that's pretty much it. So Nat, act as if you were chasing me. So like Nat is chasing me, and he's coming at me, and then I'm just gonna turn around and hit him with that. He's gonna go flying, and I have time now to get away from him. And yeah, moving on to the next tip.
So this tip, you need any sword that can do the lunge and the crystal blaster. So what you do is you jump over your enemy and shoot them in the face.
Perfect. Okay, so for this tip, you're going to need the coconut and the fire sword. Now you need these 2 items for this because it's a combo and it's a very good strategy to use on any player in general. Okay, now act like as if you're chasing me.
Oh yeah, I am a strong boy.
And then do that. So you need to use the coconut first, so I don't think it will be as effective. I mean, I think it could work anyway, but the coconut first is probably the most effective way. On to the next tip.
Yeah.
Okay, Nat, what is your last offensive tip?
Death tree. Back to you, Tanuki!
Thanks Nat and PJ. You can check out their channel in the description. They make really funny gameplays and Super Doomspire videos like me. They are so sweet and I recommend you give them a subscribe. Let's move on to our final game mode offensive tip, which is Roundcat Rally. Roundcat Rally is a game mode that only involves offense. There are 2 teams. The goal is to defend your base while attacking others' bases. Defense we've already gone over in past videos as well as our next one, so let's move on to the next tip. Take the 30-second grace period to let you build strategically. During this time, build a wall and place your wall near the Roundcats. It's also good to create trench-like covers so that way you can place a big wall, but not all of your blocks, and use the remaining to create a 4x4 around the cats, which will allow you to place your blocks. That way you can focus on offense rather than defense during the match. Best weapons to use are the tennis racket, which can reflect rockets at a greater distance. Tennis racket can be used to deflect the best. After all, the map was called tennis, so it's for a reason. Avoid crystal blaster at all costs, it literally will not reach. For heavier players, this is where you pull out heavier to medium weapons. Personally, I would pick the cannon as its 2 bullets allow you to hit targets easier. Basically pick either really light weapons like Hosshog, etc., but not the crystal blaster or medium or heavy. Avoid the lightest weapons, this is about constructed damage, not KOs. As for offense, this correctly divides with defense. Reflecting is a key move in Super Doomspire, so always remember to quick switch your sword on hand. Reflecting after all, hence math means tennis, it's a game of back and forth. Keep slicing if you have a medium weapon, and if you have a heavier weapon, aim it around half a second before you send that big whoosh coming. This is probably, other than rockets, the best offensive strategy to make in this game mode. This concludes our Super Doomspire video. I'd like to thank again Nat and PJ for collaborating me in this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. A new part will come out next week about defense in Super Doomspire, so hopefully you can watch that. It will also be linked in the end cards in the description. I'll see you in the next video.